Bem-vindo ao canal Aprende Aí, onde hoje nós mergulhamos nas histórias mais profundas da ficção científica. If you stack up every storyline in modern science fiction, nothing comes close to the sheer physical weight of Perry Rhodan. With thousands of episodes published since 1961, it stands as the most massive, continuous sci-fi universe ever committed to paper. For the first 10 overarching cycles, spanning hundreds of stories, the trajectory of humanity in this universe pointed straight up. The Terran Empire expanded limitlessly across the stars, conquering threats, solving cosmic mysteries, and settling into a comfortable rhythm of constant victory. That unbroken streak of human invincibility built a very specific expectation for the readers. They trusted that no matter the odds, humanity would always find a way to dominate. And that baseline of total optimism is exactly what made the arrival of the 11th cycle, O Concílio, such a disorienting shock to the system. The shock arrives in episodes 650 through 699, with a new intelligence known as the Larens. They appear abruptly within the borders of the Milky Way, and they certainly do not come to negotiate. The Larens arrive with a specific mandate, the total annexation of the Milky Way into the Council of Seven. To ensure compliance, the Larens bring along a brutal enforcement arm known as the Superpesados, or Super Heavies. This faction provides the raw, unstoppable muscle required to crush any pocket of resistance. Facing this threat, humanity attempts its usual strategy of military retaliation, and they fail entirely. The combined defensive fleets of the Terran Empire shatter against the overwhelming power of the Council. With the loss of the home galaxy, the stakes collapse into a singular focus on evasion. The series settles into a rhythm of constant flight, where the only objective is staying one jump ahead of an executioner. Faced with total annihilation, Perry Rhodan runs the tactical simulations. He quickly realizes that leading an honorable, open rebellion against the Larens will result in the immediate extinction of the human race. So he makes an agonizing political compromise. Against every instinct, Rhodan accepts the title of Primero Hetron. He allows himself to be crowned as a subjugated puppet ruler, acting on behalf of the very aliens dismantling his empire. This creates an incredibly tense dynamic. In the light of day, Rhodan publicly enforces the Council's harsh edicts to keep the Larens satisfied, but in the shadows, he leverages his access to secretly orchestrate a sprawling resistance network. Pessoal, só uma pausa rapidinha aqui. Se vocês estão curtindo essa análise, por favor, compartilhem o canal e deem aquele like. Isso ajuda a gente demais a continuar trazendo esse tipo de conteúdo. Beleza? Valeu! By placing Rhodan in this compromised position, the writers tear down the standard archetype of the flawless space commander. The ultimate hero of the franchise is forced to do the villain's dirty work, absorbing the hatred of his people just to keep them alive. Eventually, this delicate political maneuvering starts to fray. The Larens and their super heavies grow suspicious, and the Earth itself becomes the direct target of an impending, merciless attack. Out of conventional options, Rhodan resorts to a wild tactical maneuver. If they cannot defend the Earth, they have to physically move the planet completely out of the reach of the invading fleet. Moving the homeworld means a unified defensive frontline is no longer possible. To avoid being eradicated in a single strike, humanity has to deliberately shatter its own unified civilization and scatter to the furthest reaches of space. One massive wave of refugees splinters off and manages to find shelter in an obscure, highly defended region known as the Provcon Fist. Another major faction of the shattered empire flees even deeper into the unknown, navigating toward a distant star whirlpool located beneath a system called the Medallion Sun. The survival of the human species is secured, but at a massive cost. The characters trade their galactic dominance for mere existence, accepting the literal and political fragmentation of everything they had built. The galaxy left behind in the wake of the Laren invasion looks entirely different. Humanity is now a scattered diaspora, reduced to fighting a grueling, localized guerrilla war from the cold shadows of deep space. The O Concílio cycle marks a permanent tonal shift for the franchise. The era of optimistic manifest destiny imperialism ends right here, replaced by a gritty, grounded focus on survivalism and resistance. By stripping away the massive fleets and the endless victories, the authors highlight a different kind of strength. The story proves that compelling heroes are the ones willing to swallow their pride and endure humiliation when brute force is no longer an option. Committing 50 continuous episodes to the systematic dismantling of a 10-year winning streak remains a rare move in serialized fiction. By forcing its central hero into the role of a galactic collaborator, the cycle effectively deconstructs the power fantasy that initially defined the series. Não deixe o algoritmo te perder no tempo e espaço. Faça sua inscrição no Aprende Aí para continuarmos nossa missão de exploração juntos.